What was it? Cop City. What do
Cop
you got?
City. Good Lord, this is disgusting. Should we just I mean, I'm sure everybody knows what it is, but should we just do the overview and just show the tape of what it is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's Cop City.
Atlanta is planning on building a $90 million training ground in the forest to practice urban warfare tactics. Activists are calling it Cop City and say it will harm Black people in the environment.
The facility would be a space where the police could practice tear gas explosions, bomb testing, have a shooting range, practice high-speed chases. Like, they're literally going to build a mock city of Atlanta to practice different urban warfare tactics. The purpose of this project is to be able to better surveil, better suppress, and better prevent liberation movements that directly address the exploitation that Black and working class communities are feeling.
Atlanta actually increased its police budget after Black Lives Matter protests and a movement to defund the police. More than 70% of Atlantans disapprove of Cop City. In 2021, Atlanta's population was almost 50% Black. 20% of Atlantans live in poverty.
The Atlanta police have always been antagonistic towards poor and working class people. They have been active agents of gentrification.
Cop City is proposed to be built on land that included a slave plantation and a prison farm. The construction would cut down part of the South River forest, which helps prevent flooding and protects against extreme heat. Activists against Cop City are occupying the forest, building barricades, and protesting against corporate sponsors to stop construction.
Defund the police, abolish them, and invest in the things that actually keep us safe. We've been ramping up our efforts to get folks in the community trained on things like restorative justice, on medic trainings, on de-escalation tactics, disaster relief, all the things that we know actually keep us safe when we're in crisis. And so we don't need to call the police. Folks won't feel like they need to engage 911, that will have those skills in our community and can meet our own needs.
Sorry, we overlapped our pushing buttons. So just in case there was any doubt about why this is happening, here is who sponsors Cop City. Where did that go? This is
I got it.
Pretty telling. Home Depot, UPS, Delta, Chick-fil-A, Amazon, Wells Fargo, Morgan Chase, Waffle House, Axon Enterprises, Atlanta Hawks, and Georgia State University. And Inspire brands, which really makes you wonder, like, Jesus.
Can I just say Waffle House?
I mean, you know, it is so vile what's happening. They're going to destroy acres of land. They have people who are trying to protect the land. They just killed a pacifist land protector who was staying in that part of the park where they were gonna destroy all of it.
And that's going to be a huge story because if we're talking about the same situation, that's the one where they claim that he fired on the cops and there's no footage or proof on any level that he had a gun or anything like that. And they have a picture of all the SWAT team going out to confront him with their cameras on their.
And somehow there's no footage.
Like, there's no footage.
Yeah, they forgot to turn it on again. So, I mean, I just think as this continues, what we're really seeing, which is terrifying, is that they are claiming that any protester is a domestic terrorist, and that gives them the right to kill us. I mean, protesting is becoming illegal. That's what it is.
I mean, that's the move. They know the situation is so bad in this country, and people are so up in arms and upset with, rightfully so many things that there's strikes, there's everything. And so they know they have to find a way to justify squashing protests.
Sorry, I just saw Reflect the Sun wrote it's 1.23 million acres. That's unbelievable. Yeah, and they're going to find a way to squash the revolution. They are militarizing the police. They've been doing it now for a decade. I mean, more, but it's really ramped up under Obama and continued. I think Biden doubled the police budget, right? Funding for cops in this country.
Wrong topic. Well, let's just look at LA's budget.
Yeah. That's insane.
$3.86 billion for LA.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts.
And for what, yeah.
So ABC News did a study. Well, somebody did a study and ABC News reported on it, excuse me. They looked at 109 budgets and only 2% of them actually did any sort of defunding whatsoever. But defunding is being blamed as why Democrats lost. But in 49 cities or counties, police funding increased by more than 10%.
Yeah.
And I had some graphics on Biden's budget.
I know something's going on with StreamYard recently, which is a little frustrating. All of our good stuff. Yeah. So, and we also know that, Black people of color have a much higher incident of being killed by police. And here you're in a city that's over 50% Black, and you're going to put this enormous fortress of people who are not there to protect and serve, who don't view themselves as part of the community, who view that community, who live there, who don't want Cop City, view them as the enemy. Like it's a militarized zone.
It's insane.
It's insane.
And the people are not people didn't vote for this. This isn't something that was a ballot initiative. Hey, what do you think about taking your city and we'll just take we'll take 1 million acres of land and get rid of it despite the environmental harms. And we'll just train cops to go after people and we'll do.
Yeah. No, it's pretty horrifying. And there's not really been a lot of people speaking out on the left about this, or liberal left, whatever, in Congress, right? I mean, or the mayor of, it's Atlanta, right? It's in Atlanta. Yeah.
It's Atlanta. Yeah.
Isn't that Bowser? I mean, where is there's study after study shows us that cops don't prevent crime and they only solve 2% of crimes. I mean, so what are we doing here? Why is this being allowed to happen against the will of a majority of the people?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. And the answer is what people think has no impact on how either party responds politically. What matters, and they chart after chart, people who've looked at this, is the donor money matters. The corporate donor money matters. What you and I do or care about is irrelevant in the big picture, which is why even when we elect somebody within the Democratic Party who supports our values, they're in a system that absolutely squashes our voice regardless. Right. So there's your depression for the day.
There's another, Doomsday, Cop City. And I thought, I know we just had 3 horrific shootings in California over the past couple of days, and the one that was close to here in Monterey Park, that shooter was stopped by a young man who was at that dance studio. He wasn't stopped by the cops. And by the time they found the perpetrator, he had killed himself. So the cops did nothing there to help anybody. And I don't even know if they could have or what, but that's not where we should be putting our resources, to more cops that don't keep us safer.
The answer isn't more guns, more tanks, more police officers. It's offshoring a lot of the responsibilities of the government, of the local governments, especially, to the services that people that can actually treat this stuff. I mean, mental health is an issue for sure.
Yep.
But economic issues are also a factor in this.
Absolutely.
So there are all these different layers of, just like there's a Swiss cheese effect to how you treat COVID, how you should respond to COVID. Same thing with crime, but none of it is let's just give cops all the money. Cops show up to everything, and they're our first responders, our first responders to everything are cops. It should be in the case of homeless people, you get cops showing up to deal with homeless people first. Well, cop doesn't know how to get this person resources and help. They just want them out and move your shit away from the business that needs to make money. And part of that is also that every city in America is run by the Chamber of Commerce, which is funded by the local small businesses. So even small businesses are part of it, but like,
Yeah.
they don't respond to citizens. They respond
No.
to people who have money to fund their campaigns. And who funds local campaigns? Small businesses fund local campaigns, not
Right.
homeless people or poor people
Right.
or,
Yeah. And it's just so depraved, right? Because the root problem, as you were saying, it's never, I mean, yes, there are some people who have mental issues, but we don't have healthcare in this country. There are people who, they go to a doctor, they're one paycheck away from bankruptcy or losing a home. We don't have a living wage guaranteed in this country. I mean, there's so many things that contribute to why people are feeling rage right now. And I'm not excusing any of it. And yes, if he didn't have a gun and he had a knife, fewer people, I am not a pro-gun person, but that's not the only issue. It just, as you said, it's a Swiss cheese model.
It's a systemic problem. I mean, but the guns are actually a problem too, but the gun problem, I mean, we got more guns than people in the country. We're the only country on earth even close to that. The second closest country is like half the ratio of guns to people,
Right. But like, why do people want their guns so much? Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, but that's where I was going. I mean, this country, we have a system where it's my freedoms and my guns and,
and be scared of your neighbor. Like, they're constantly pushing fear of, you're going to be accosted in the parking lot. There's somebody coming to get you. How are you going to, do you have a ring on your door and a camera if somebody's trying to steal from you? And, all the crime statistics say that those violent crimes have kind of plateaued for the last few decades, but you wouldn't know it by the way it's covered in the news now.
No, you would think because people were locked down, which they weren't.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Everybody went crazy and there's all these mass murders now. And that's what they're trying to push out of all these recent mass shootings. It's like, oh, it's a factor of people being locked down.
Yeah. Well, and even just like sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. Don't. If you take one breath, I'm like, I'm coming in. No. Go. Say what you're going to say.
I already lost my thought. This is why feminism is bad. Feminism is bad. I'm joining the right.
But like all the conversations that they have on, shoplifting.
Yeah.
They cover that. And that's why Walgreens has to close, which is such a lie. I mean, since I got pregnant with my older son, so that was 21 years ago, that was the first time I noticed that baby formula was locked up. So you have a grocery store where a necessity for a child's life is behind a lock.
Okay. Can I just add to that? Not that it's a child's life, but I've noticed that all the major stores in my area, I've started locking down basic stuff like at Target, deodorant. I have to get a key to get deodorant, like, because the most basic survival stuff, like you can't have a job if you go and you stink every day, basic survival stuff is getting locked up because that's what the thefts are mostly occurring is stuff like that.
So there are lots of solutions.
Price of eggs.
To these problems.
Sorry. Just thought I'd add the eggs. Eggs are doubled. There's no real reason for them to be doubling. It's just
price gouging.
Corporate greed.
Yeah. So imagine, again, if that were the framing, if that were the discussion, if every day they talked about the billions of dollars of wage theft by our CEOs, if they talked about, I mean, I know we're going to do another above the law thing, but like there's lots of illicit behavior going on in our country and in the world that is just like, well, it's business. Oh, he's smart to do it. How do you think you become a millionaire or a billionaire? That's how you do it. Right. And that kind of theft is praised, but baby formula is going to be behind lock and key.